everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division in the Winter Major Tournament. We are playing from the front tee, which is Rookie Division. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Let's go! I'm going to start off by playing with my extra mile level 5, and here you need to be very clear with that you're going to play it downhill 10% over adjustment. The thing that you do also want to do is to make sure that you're playing with a ball that you feel comfortable with. If you play with a power 3 ball that I do in this example, you don't have to overpower to get over the bunkers. If you would be playing with a basic ball or with a mauling ball, you will have to overpower to be able to get to the same type of result. And the reason we are playing on the right side and bouncing over the bunkers here is because we do want to have as easy approach possible towards the pin, because this is, even though you might not see it that way, this is a good opportunity for us to make an eagle. The drive as well, max top spin and as much right side spin that you possibly can, because the ball is going to have a natural push or bounce towards the left, and therefore we need to compensate for that with making the side spin to the right. Second shot here. Now we're going to play with a thorn or with the hornet or with whatever short iron you feel the most comfortable with. We need to over adjust 10% here as well. Here we do have a possibility to go for a dunk to aim directly in the hole, or we are going to use backspin and go directly at the pin. You can see we do have a big like hump there in the middle of the fairway, which is going to make it hard for us to go directly at the pin, and we therefore need to, in this case, use more backspin, and therefore I'm choosing the hornet as my second club. Going to play it 1.5 ring approximately, as we are in medium distance of our club. Hit a great left, which was not what we wanted to. We wanted to have a a perfect shot, then we would be getting this one in. But we hit the pin, and you can see how close we are to getting that one to drop. Now we're going to focus and we're going to go to hole number 2. Hole number 2 is a par 5, and here we absolutely have to play with a power 3 ball. Here we don't have any differences, not maybe for the drive in itself, but we do need for the second shot, then we do need distance. So we're going to use as much topspin that we can with 4.5 bar and as much side spin to the left as possible, which is also 4.5 bar. Aim up, you can see half of the blue ring inside the rough there on the left, combined with having the ball guide line just straight down the middle. We are playing before the mound that we do have there on the fairway. The reason we do that is that we do not want to play with an inconsistent surface. We over adjust our shot with 10%, playing the shot in medium distance of our club. Our opponent here is using a power 5 ball, and sure, you can play with a power 5 ball, but I think that's a stretch. We will definitely have a great situation by using a power 3 ball. You maybe wonder, couldn't we go straight over there to the other fairway? No, I wouldn't try that, you know. The reason for that is that if we're just slightly off to the right or just get a slightly worse bounce than expected, then we're going to be in the water or in the rough. Our opponent's getting unfortunately in the rough there, and now for the second shot we're going to go and try to do a very aggressive thing here, and that is that we're going to bounce on the fairway into the rough and roll up to the green. First we need to play with 2 bars of topspin, and I'm playing with a little bit more, I think. Yeah, I'm playing with 2.5, but I do want us to play with 2, and we do want the tip of the ball guide line to show in the sand, not in the rough, because now with this type of wind, we're going to bounce over, and we're still not having any problem to get the eagle from a wedge here, but we definitely don't want to bounce over the rough here. Then we could play the shot differently. The reason I want to show this approach though is that even if we do go long, we will get the ball to stop nicely there because it's uphill there on the green. So we could get the ball to stop and have a very easy wedge to making an eagle. So in a risk and reward situation here, we definitely have a risk with a shot, but we do have a high reward if we can get it as we wanted to get the ball to bounce in the rough to roll towards the pin. While like the risk in itself is that we're going to roll over the green and have a wedge for the pin instead. But make sure that you play with 2 bars of topspin and not play with more, okay? Our opponent here that goes into the rough, or it was sand, I don't remember, but then you cannot reef for the green in 2, so just make sure that you make your drive properly. So you can see here, we do have the wedge with the Firefly. Use the wedge, that gives you the best ball guideline. It makes it the easiest way for you to get it in the hole. And when you have wind that is below 6 miles per hour, never leave the cup with your adjustment. Just put it to the inside, but to the left in this case. And then it's going to go in, even if you hit it great. Get in a hole. Hole number 3. Hole number 3 is going to be a par 3. And here it's going to be important here that we do play with a ball that gives a side spin to the right. Or like, if I have side spin right, we have side spin left. So, the ultimate ball to play with here is, in my opinion, to play with a katana. But katana is a power 2 ball and not that frequent in terms of getting it in free chest and stuff like that. So I'm going to play my shot with a quasar, and then I'm going to apply some curl. Our opponent here is playing with a Goliath. Like, this is a... Oh wow, this is a Goliath level 8 in rookie. Ooh. That surprised me a little bit, because this is too good of a club to play down into rookie here. Max backspin he has, and max side spin. That... Okay, then this shot makes even more sense. I couldn't understand on the stream when I played this shot how our opponent could get it to stop this close with using a Goliath, because I was more in the understanding of using a Goliath level 3 or level 4. But doesn't matter, our turn. Now we're going to play Quasar. And now you can see we're going to go up and play with a long iron, and we're going to play the long iron in medium distance of our club with a 10% over adjustment. 1.5 bar backspin. You can see the blue ring is just perfectly aligned with the rough there on the top. Max side spin to the right, and then we're going to adjust this one for being a 2.3 rings. And then we're going to apply some curl, and the curl is going to be half a ball outside the adjustment ring to the right. And we're coming in, and we're going to hit it very nicely, and it bounces and it rolls. Get in the hole! So, the only thing there, if you do play with a katana or a ball like a kingmaker or something like that that has more side spin, then you need to reduce the curl, as you do have more side spin than you do have on a Quasar. Now, we do hole number 4. Here it is, take a Titan ball, full blast overpower, max top spin, and max side spin to the left. And when I say max top spin, I would like you to play with max top spin when it comes to 4.5 bar, because the thing that I do want you to think of here is like, just that we roll out of the obstacle area with the rough and the sand there, we're going to be okay, because we're going to have a wedge for the pin. But as a worst case scenario, once again, risk and reward, the thing that we do risk is that we're going to get into the rough or into the sand, like I'm going to do here. And then the worst case scenario is that we're going to have a very short sand wedge shot to the pin for an eagle. And I would take that all day and every day instead of a wood club from minimum distance or a long iron for maximum distance that we do get on the right side. So my advice for hole number 4 is pretty boring, but power 3 ball, take the driver that gives you the most distance, which is going to be the extra mile when you're playing rookie in most of the cases. Then you go full blast overpower, and you are going to be having no problem whatsoever to reach over to the rough or to the sand, so you should not be afraid to get into the water. You can even see here our opponent play with a basic ball and just reach over. So like, then we should be having no problem with a power 3 ball. I can stretch it too, that you could play it with a power 2 ball, if you want to, as well. So you can see here, we do have a Malibu level 5 here for the pin, using the ball guideline, and that's something that I don't think I talk about too often, but when you play from the rough or from the sand, or even with a wedge, the ball guideline is crucial. It's so important to get yourself a good ball guideline, because that's going to help you tremendously when you do aim, so you don't have to guess. You can actually rely on the ball guideline, but hit it perfect, not great like I did. Then we're going to base it on the left, of course. Hole number 5, a par 5, and once again we're going to give ourselves some room here with the adjustment and play with a power 3 ball. And I very much dislike that we need to play with a power 3 ball that often, but once again, I'm not making this playthrough for you to survive the qualifying round. I'm making this playthrough for you to get to the weekend round and to be able to compete amongst those that are going to play and play in the top. Max topspin here, and I'm going to actually go over. And the thing that I'm thinking about here in terms of the risk and reward factor is like the worst case scenario here is that I'm going to hit my ball great or good on either side. And then the thing that is going to happen there is that I'm going to be short before the rough or go over the rough. I got over the rough here. Now I have no problem whatsoever to reach for the green in 2. But if you do not have a driver with 4.5 bar topspin, or you feel very uncomfortable with going with overpower, then I would suggest that you use slightly less overpower, if so any overpower, and just play yourself directly over to the fairway that we did bounce. Or you're going to bounce yourself on the fairway before the rough. This is nonetheless going to be a very tough par 5 for you to be able to get the drive in a correct way. We do need to over adjust our drive with 10%. That's very important to have in mind when we're making the drive. Shot number 2. And shot number 2 here, now we're going to play with a wood club on like, it's not lucky that we have to play with a wood club. I would love to play with a long iron instead. Use a wood club that gives you distance. Not so much for now the drive we make here, but let's say you would be cutting the rough like our opponent did there, then we do need backspin. Max backspin with your approach, which is with the big dog 4 bars of backspin. Use the back of the green. Let the ball fall back down towards the pin for a possible albatross. We do need to get to the top for the ball to be able to get that speed that is necessary to get the ball to roll and drop. Tough hole for hole number 5. You can play it conservative, you can play it aggressive. I would actually vouch for playing it a little bit more aggressively for the drive, so you get a little bit more distance, so you don't have to overpower your shot. Hole number 6. Here we're going to change. We're going to play with a basic ball, and because we don't need any other ball, we can achieve the same type of result anyway. Look here now, we do have the white ring just inside the rough there on the left. 1.5 bar topspin with the ball guideline being around like 1 ring from the rough there with the second bounce. The only thing I would change here is that I would like to use 2 bars of topspin, because you can notice here that we're going to come in a little bit short here on the green. No problem though when it comes to coming in here. We're gonna get it close, but we do need a little bit more roll for the ball to be able to get to the distance where it's going to fall down towards the pin. I like that approach, and I also like the fact that this is not going to be an hole in one hole, so we can save like a power 1, power 2, power 3 ball here and just play with a basic ball and still have a good chance to make an hole in one. Like, still have a good chance for a great result and still have the chance for the hole in one, not a good chance. I don't believe this is going to be a general hole in one hole, unfortunately, because I like the way this hole is designed. So if we can just find the correct speed here and the correct roll, then we're going to have no problem. if we do go short, this is going to mean that we're going to have a very short wedge, and that's going to be no problem for us. Hole number 7! And here we're going to once again play with a power 0 ball, but this time we're going to play with a Marlin. We do want to use the side spin here because of the wind that we have left to right, even though it's a very low wind, that is, it's not a strong wind, and it's going to be very necessary for us here to use a little bit of side spin. 4.5 bar top spin, and then I'm going to adjust for medium distance of our club. A little bit less than 1.5 rings and slight curl to the left. And you can see the reason I'm using the slight curl to the left is that I'm going to want to stay away from the rough on the right. So no problem, but you can go with more curl if you want to as well. That's important to know. And the thing that we do want to achieve here is to get to approximately that distance, so we do have a shot for the pin. Worst case scenario, we go into the rough, and that's going to be tough. And in my opinion, it's going to be too tough for us to get it to drop, because we have a lower level rough iron and don't have that much backspin. So we do need to focus a lot to play our drive. The drive needs to be played with an over adjustment of 10%. And I also want to say that for hole number 6 that we played before, we make an over adjustment of 20% on that one. So that I didn't say, but very important for me to know, for you to know. You can see we are in max distance of our club, and now once again I'm going to use the backspin on the thorn very hard when we cannot see the tip of the ball guideline, how the ball is going to react. We know it's going to bounce backwards, but how much and in what direction? But I'm going to aim just at the left side of the cup using max distance adjustment with a 10% over adjustment. This is also depending on how far you reach on the fairway, a dunk opportunity. So to get this ball in hold could be a, oh, we hit the pin again. Come on, like as for hole number 1, we hit the pin on hole number 7. But the thing that we can draw as a conclusion there is that we absolutely have a possibility to make an eagle. Hole number 8. And hole number 8 is a very interesting par 3. Here we do need to play and over adjust this shot a lot. We need to over adjust it 30%. That's very important to have in mind. Our opponent is going to play with the backbone here, and I think the backbone is the incorrect club. The reason is that then we're going to have to back up and play it on the right side of the bunker, and then we will have to go with curl and also a very inconsistent bounce slash ball guideline here to get a good wrestle. We're most likely going to miss on the right side many of the time, and often don't understand why, because that bounce doesn't make sense. So I'm going to use a Marlin playing with a Goliath in max distance of my club. 2.5 bar backspin, and also the max side spin, which is 2 and a click with the Marlin. Look at the position here. The red ring just down into the sand and just on top of the rough, with the second bounce on the top of the fringe. Then we're going to over adjust, as I said, 30% with max numbers, which in the end is going to give ourselves 1.2 rings. And we're going to hit it perfect in this case. I'm going to get a very nice bounce, exactly where we aimed, and it bounced and it rolled. Get in the hole! That's awesome. And this is very possible to replicate for you as well if you take a close look in the video. But 30% and a Goliath club. It doesn't matter if you have it the Goliath in level 2 or level 3. That club is going to be better than the backbone due to the more yards slash like distance that you're going to get with the Goliath there. Because I'd rather see us playing with a power 0 ball than playing with a backbone with a power 3 ball on that par 3. Hole number 9, last but not least, and here we're going to play with a power 3 ball, a Titan ball. That is because we do want to make it as easy as possible for us to make this ball to bounce over the rough and roll out. This that our opponent is doing is good. What it's going to work. It's going to be well enough to be able to reach for the greenie too. But as you see, I'm using a power 3 ball to extend my distance, to give myself a little bit more, so I don't have to go with overpower. Once again, when we do go with overpower, we always risk way more than when we don't have to go with overpower. Now you maybe see that I can go full blast overpower and most likely do a single bounce over the rough, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to stretch out my club so I can see the second bounce being fairly close to the rough on the top. Then I adjust it down, which it was 1.7 rings approximately. I hit it perfect, and now you can see the thing that we do want to achieve, the double bounce. Make sure that when you do stretch out your club and start adjusting, do not stretch out so you see the second bounce being too close to the rough, because we do have tailwind and we're going to get an extended ball guideline, and that's very important to have in mind, that when we do have a tailwind, get extended ball guideline, and that could be the difference. Like if you aim very close to the rough, that is most likely going to be the difference if you're going to cut the rough or not. So back up a little bit and rely on the fact that you get an extended ball guideline so you are able to bounce over to the second piece of fairway. Now when we are on that fairway, we have no problem to reach for the green, and we're going to do our best to dial the speed in that we do want on our ball. We're going to play the same type of way that our opponent's doing. The only difference is that we are not going to have to overpower once again. We do have tailwind though, and that is something that once again we need to think of, but something that not even I did think of here. Max side spin, and I'm playing this one, as you can see here, I'm using 3.5 bar top spin. We could play this one with 3 because we're going to come in very hot. And that's important, and that is like almost just because of the extended ball guideline due to the tailwind that we're having. So 3 bars of topspin going to be enough. Medium distance of our club with a 10% over adjustment. So this hole, we don't over adjust anything for the drive, but we do over adjust 10% for the second shot. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with the correct tournament win for the Winter Major Tournament. These courses are called the Maple Bay, and you can find them on tour number 5, the World Links. If you do want to get updated text guides for the Winter Major Tournament and for future tournaments, check out patreon.com/golfclashtommy. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Winter Major Tournament.